Sophie's Squash by Pat Zietlow Miller and Ann Wilsdorf. One bright fall day, Sophie chose a squash at the farmer's market. Her parents planned to serve it for supper, but Sophie had other ideas. What do you guys think her ideas were? Let's take a look. Let's take a look at this picture, guys. It was just the right size to hold in her arms, just the right size to bounce on her knee. Can everybody point to their knee? We have 1, 2. Just the right size to love. I'm glad we met, Sophie whispered. Good friends are hard to find. At home, Sophie used markers to give her squash a face. Then she wrapped it in a blanket and rocked it to sleep. When it was time to make supper, Sophie's mother looked at the squash. She looked at Sophie. I call her Bernice, Sophie said. I'll call for a pizza, said her mother. After that, Bernice went everywhere with Sophie, to the story time at the library. Look, guys, this is you guys, and this is me reading you guys a book. See, she takes Bernice to the library. To visit other squash at the farmer's market. Did you guys know that pumpkin is a squash? Look, it's right here in the picture with the other squash. To practice somersaults by the garden. Every night, Sophie gave Bernice a bottle, a hug, and a kiss. Well, we did hope she'd like vegetables, Sophie's mother said to her father. Shh, Sophie said. Bernice is sleeping. Shh. Sweet Pea, Sophie's mother said one morning as they made blueberry waffles. Bernice is a squash, not a friend. If we don't eat her, soon she'll get mushy and gross. Let's bake her with marshmallows. Won't that taste yummy? Do you guys like marshmallows? I like marshmallows. Don't listen, Bernice, Sophie cried. That afternoon, Sophie's father took her shopping. Sugar Beet, he said, Bernice is a squash. Why don't you pick a nice toy to play with instead? But the trucks were too hard, and the dolls were too soft. Sophie clinched Bernice tightly. No thanks, she said. I have everything I need. After supper, Sophie's parents called a family meeting. Bernice napped in Sophie's lap. Why don't you donate Bernice to the food pantry before she rots? Sophie's father suggested. Sophie shook her head. Bernice will last forever. Bernice seems a little blotchy, said Sophie's dad on the way to the library one day. She looks perfect to me, Sophie replied. At story time, some kids pointed and stared. What's that spotty thing? A boy asked. Her name is Bernice, and she's a squash, said Sophie, with freckles. Maybe Bernice should stay home next time, Sophie's mom suggested. Why? Sophie asked. She wasn't the one being rude. Still as winter neared, Sophie noticed changes. Bernice seemed softer, and her somersaults lacked their usual style. Visiting friends will cheer you up, Sophie said. At the farmer's market, squash were everywhere. Firm, shiny squash. What keeps a squash healthy? Sophie asked a farmer. It's simple, really, he said. Fresh air, good, clean dirt. A little love as well. Well, Sophie thought, I have all that. What do you guys think Sophie's gonna do next? At home, Sophie cleaned leaves from Bernice's favorite spot. She made a bed of soft soil, tucked Bernice in, and kissed her goodnight. Get better soon, she whispered. That night, while Sophie slept, the wind whistled and tiny snowflakes fell. Can you guys see the snowflakes in her window? I see the snowflakes in her window. When she awoke, the world was covered in white. Do you think that Bernice is cold out there? Sophie asked her mother. I'm sure she's warm and cozy under her snow blanket, her mother replied. Sophie gazed out the window all morning. She was still there in the afternoon when her father came home with a surprise. You need a new friend, he said. Ace was nice, but boring. He just swam around and around in his bowl. What do you guys think Sophie has? But during the long winter, Sophie discovered that Ace was a super silent reader who did fabulous flip turns. And he always listened politely when she talked about Bernice. Bernice was great at keeping secrets. See, guys? Turns out Ace is a fish. When the snow finally melted, Sophie rushed to the garden. The only thing there was a small green sprout. It looked strangely familiar. Bernice, Sophie said, how was your winter? After that, Sophie, Ace, and Bernice ate lunch together every day. One bright summer morning, Sophie somersaulted across her yard, landed by the garden, and stared in disbelief. What do you guys think she saw? Let's take a look. Bernice had grown to a tiny squash. Wow, Sophie told them. You look just like your mom. Look, guys, she's got two little baby squash. Soon, Bonnie and Baxter were just the right size for Sophie to hold in her arms and bounce on her knee. Just the right size to love. And that's the end of our book. I hope you guys enjoyed story time.